Here's how you can use control structure in your Python coding project. Imagine a bartender asks if you are an adult. An adult is whether the age is larger or equal to 18. If you are 18 or above, then you reply with, I'm an adult. If not, then you reply with, I'm a minor. Control structures are the building blocks of logic in programming. They enable you to control the flow of your program based on certain conditions or repeated operations. In Python, we primarily work with conditionals and loops. Let's break each down. First off, we have conditional statements. These allow us to execute certain blocks of code based on specific conditions. The most common conditional statements in Python are if, else if, and else. Let's say your age is 18, so we can have a variable like age equals to 18. And then we have the if statement here. If the age is smaller than 18, then it will print I am a minor. Or else if the age is equals to 18, then we'll print I am just became an adult. Else we'll print I am an adult. Here, we check if age is less than 18. If true, it prints I'm a minor. If age equals to 18, it gives a different message. And for anything above 18, it informs that I'm an adult. Notice how indentation plays a crucial role in Python. It's how we define code blocks. Another crucial point is Python has a concept called truthness, which means that conditions and if statements can be more than just direct comparisons. You can use any expressions that evaluates to true or false. Using logical operations can deepen your condition checking. You have and, or, and not. Let's say today's temperature is 25 degrees. We have a variable containing temperature is equal to 35. And then another Boolean variable named it's raining is false. It means that today it's not raining, so it's false. We can have an if statement here. If temperature is larger than 30 and not is raining, then we'll print it's a hot day, perfect for going to the beach. Else if the temperature is smaller than 20 degrees or it's raining, then it will print better stay indoor. Shift enter. It's because if temperature is larger than 30 degrees, which is true because temperature is 35, and not is raining. It's raining is false, so not false means true. So in this statement, it's that true and true. This will give out true. So if this is true, it will print it's a hot day perfect for going to the beach. Now we can test something else. Let's say if the temperature is 90 degrees, shift enter. So we can see that temperature larger than 30 degrees, it is false because the temperature currently is 90 degrees. So false, and even if this statement is true, and clause will give an false here. So if false, they will skip this iteration and then goes directly to the else if. If temperature is less than 20 degrees or is raining is true, which is temperature smaller than 20 degrees, which is true right here. So true or false, sorry. True or false, then because it's an or statement, so either case is true, it will have the true as a result. So it will print better stay indoor. Or we can try something else, like if it's still temperature is 35 degrees, but it is raining. So it's raining true. Shift enter again. So because not true is raining because it's raining is true, right? So not true, it gives false. And if the end statement, either side of the end statements gives a false, the end statement will give a false as a result. So we'll skip this iteration and go directly to the else if clause. So have a look in here. Temperature is smaller than 20 degrees, which is false here, but it's raining is true. So false or true if because is an or clause. So if either side in the or clause is true, so true or false, it will give a result of true. So this is true. If true, then we'll print better stay indoor. We can have another example here. Next are loops. Loops allows you to execute a block of code multiple times. The two main types of loops in Python are for loops and while loops. So in the for loop, now you're in detention due to failing to spell the longest English vocab in the world in the English vocab pop quiz, which is this word. I'm not going to say it out. And the teacher requires you to write it 10 times on the paper. So seeing your friends are footballing outside the classroom, you wish to finish the writing task as soon as possible. You carefully begin writing the first time, the second time, the third time, the fourth time, until the 10th time. So you finish them. And you're trying very carefully when you're trying very careful on the counting because you want to go out to football to play with your friends as soon as possible, right? So you're trying very carefully to not write an extra iteration. This is what the for loop is for. There's a variable as counter, and before you start every iteration, you see if the condition of quitting the count is met. If not, you continue. For every iteration, you do certain stuff, and at the end of each iteration, the counter is increased by 1 most of the time. So we can show it in Python here. So the vocab is this. Okay, I'm not going to type it out. And then we can have a for loop here for x in the range of 10. And then we can print vocab out. Shift enter. Oops. Shift enter. There we go. We have print the word 10 times here. Now let's move on to while loops. Let's say you haven't run a lesson. The code requires you to keep running until fatigue, meaning while you're not tired, you'll keep running. Until you're tired, then you stop. This is a while loop. While you're not tired, you'll keep running. When you're finally tired, then you stop. A while loop repeatedly executes a block of code as long as specific condition is true. Let's say we have a count equals to 0, and then while the count is smaller than 5, we'll print count, and then the count will increase by 1. Shift enter. There we go. If the count is smaller than 5, which is here, so because currently count is 0, so this condition is met, it will then do the stuff inside the while loop, which is to print count and then increase count by 1. If count is smaller than 5, then we will run the code inside the while loop. The code inside the while loop will repeat until count is not smaller than 5. So in the above case, the count is increased by 1 after a single iteration. It will increase in the step of 1 from 0, 1, 2, 3 to 4. And after the 5th iteration, because count is equals to 5, right, currently, after here, so while count smaller than 5, which is false, so it will not execute code inside and quit the loop and continue the program. So as in conclusion, if is suitable for code that will only execute once if the condition is met. For loop is suitable for codes that will only execute at certain norm times. And finally, while loop is suitable for codes that needs to be repeated until certain criteria or condition is met, which we doesn't know when will the criteria condition is met when it's running. Here comes a further question. At what situation the for loop would act same as the if statement? Leave your answer in the comment section. Now you learn how to use Python control structure. Watch this video next to learn about Python if statement. See you there.